my Snacks Thoughts podcast on Spreaker, Spotify. Welcome to my Rumble. Snacks123 on Rumble, and welcome to my YouTube channel. And guys, a topic that I want to touch on tonight is about artificial intelligence and also the military and certain things that I believe and what I perceive to be coming. I was watching on YouTube. I was watching somewhat of like a documentary, but it was futuristic and science fiction and AI generated, but it also um, was showing filming of artificial intelligence and robotics that were being produced by different nations and um, what industries and what type of robots and artificial intelligence they were producing. Mainly, there were some that were being produced in China was producing like robots for the military, robotic police officers, kind of like AI robot. It was kind of like AI robot. In a sense, and they were humanoid. They had robotic dogs, and they also showed the United States. You know, producing robotic police, different types of robots, you know, and because the United States obviously is it's not a arms race, but it's an artificial intelligence race where it's in competition with China, and the United States is trying to stay at the cutting edge of technology. But obviously everybody knows that China is the world's producer. But for this particular live and this topic, um I'll call it AI will end the human soldier as we know it, and the military isn't ready. And I'll say it again: AI will end the human soldier as we know it, and the military isn't ready. Now, obviously, when I talk about soldier, refers to army, but you can replace soldier with Coast Guardsmen, you can replace it with Marine, you can replace it with sailor, and you can replace it for the Air Force with airmen. Okay, and this stuff is coming down the pipe. Now, my personal opinion, I still believe that the armed forces obviously is going to need people, but I believe that artificial intelligence and robots are going to play a major role in working with human beings side by side. And I do believe that there will be some jobs, replaced even in the military. Now, the military can be one of two things. Either it can be the first in advancement or technology or in pilot programs. Some examples could be the internet. Um, what else? I hate to say it, but I guess you could say maybe the military may be and pilots or good test subjects, or so to speak, guinea pigs for certain vaccinations. In some cases, the military is the first to try things out before it moves over to the civilian population, and then in some cases, the military can be the last to shift over to technology because of bureaucracy and in certain areas. It all depends on what it is, So, but I do believe this AI is coming through. But let's get into it, guys. Now, most people think AI is just helping the military. I'm telling you right now, AI is replacing human judgment, not assisting it. And once machines make decisions faster than humans can think, the human soldier becomes an option. Okay. Now, let's see. Um, AI, it changes. What strength means in war. Wars used to be won by courage, endurance, discipline. AI wins wars with speed, with data, and prediction. Human bravery doesn't scale, AI does. You can train courage, you can't train reaction time faster. than a machine, and that's just straight facts. Machines, they don't have emotions. They just function, according to their program. Decision making is the real target. AI isn't replacing riflemen first; it's replacing analysts, targeting officers, command recommendations. Humans become approvers, not leaders. When a machine gives the answer in zero point 0.3 seconds, the human who hesitates becomes a liability. And that right there is a fact right there. And especially in combat situations, hesitation results in devastation or failure. You know, Anyway, obedience without emotion is the advantage. Let me say it again with these I call them AI robots. Obedience without emotion is the advantage. AI, artificial intelligence, it doesn't have fear, no hesitation. It has no moral conflict. And also it does not have post traumatic stress disorder. It doesn't have that. And militaries worldwide value predictable obedience. AI doesn't refuse orders; it just carries them out. That's not a bug; that's the feature. The rank structure will change. Fewer traditional combat roles, more tech-dependent operators. Junior leaders manage systems, not people. Authority shifts from experience to algorithms. In the future, rank won't come from time served, it'll come from system access. What are the psychological costs, of this being outsourced? Humans carry trauma, guilt, moral injury. AI carries none of it. That lowers political and emotional barriers to war. When humans don't bleed, governments, fight longer. And I say it again: when humans do not bleed or suffer bodily harm, injury, or unalivement, governments, they fight longer. There's less of a risk. If people are not becoming unalive, or or losing life and limb anymore, then now they can extend these wars longer, and they can really get in and do the damage that they want to do. But there's a flip side to that. Whereas if you have machines going in, carrying out, their mission without emotion, um, the next thing that you have to consider is, okay, what happens if some of these governments don't play fair on the battlefield? What happens if they begin to target um, non what do you call it with the military? We have certain targets that is considered fair play. I can't think of the word for it right now, guys, but the United States, and I believe like NATO forces under the Geneva Convention, you have the rules, what I'm saying, of war, and all governments are not a part of. I forgot what these articles. I forgot what they're called again. Rules of engagement. But all governments don't play by that. So some governments, they play dirty. They will. Whereas the United States, supposedly we try, to be fair, to civilian life. We're more specific and strategic, on our targets. We try not to go after, unarmed, civilians. If they're not a part, you know of the war game, and we try to target their populations like that. We try to go after, maybe say, certain things, that are um in the specific targets. You know what I'm saying? It might be in certain industrial areas, maybe target where they're hiding their artillery, different, their planes, machines and equipment. We try at all costs to preserve, human life, what I'm saying? But all governments don't see it that way. So what happens now if you don't have a human operator now, carrying out these missions? Now you have a robot or artificial intelligence that has been given orders, and it does not have any moral conflict, and it doesn't have human emotion. So all it sees, is its objective, and that is it. You know what I'm saying? With a robot or a machine, is carrying out its task, what I'm saying, as it's programmed. And so what happens now if you happen to have, say, maybe certain countries that they don't play, what I'm saying, by the rules of engagement, and they go after, anybody is fair game. So they're going to hit, um soft targets as well, unarmed civilians. You know what I'm saying? Some governments, play dirty like that. So this is something to consider. And then what happens if the artificial intelligence goes rogue, or it malfunctions, and this thing is armed up with weapons, and it also is linked into the database to all types of weapon systems? So these are some things which I'm quite sure that they're considering this, and making sure they have human controls. But this is something to really think about. But this stuff is already here, what I'm saying? And there are already corporations and companies, they can't wait, what I'm saying, to buy it. But these AI robots, they are being mass produced. Saying you got the what is it? The robo dogs, whatever like that, and unbelievable coordination and flexibility. I mean, they jumping over rocks, logs. They can climb up, go down. All types of uneven terrain, and they can perform rescue missions, and they can carry a human being. They can carry many times its weight. So it can perform rescue missions as well, and unbelievable coordination, hand-eye coordination, and balance. Some of them, there's a certain types of robots that can run faster than a world-class sprinter. They've all this stuff is being tested, and China is rolling it out, and the United States is close behind. What I'm saying, trying to hurry up and trying to keep up. So they could stay in front. But anyway, guys, let me continue. Okay, now let's see. Um, my goal here, is to try to help you, what I'm saying, the viewers and the listeners, understand, what I'm saying, artificial intelligence, it doesn't make war safer, it makes it more convenient and easier. Okay. Now the soldier's role is beginning to shift, from being boots on the ground warrior um to an operator. Okay. What are some examples now? Even when I was in the Middle East, we use the what was it? We use robots to detonate explosives. So what would happen is a bio environmental or explosive ordnance. Um, what they would do to before any soldiers or human beings would go into a certain area, if it was like landmines and stuff like that, what they would do, they would keep us back, and then they would send the robot in, and so the robot would either detonate or hit the tripwire, or intentionally detonate explosive ordnance devices that were in our path. So it would intentionally detonate, set it off, so then we can just clear the area, and get it out of our way. So something to think about. um what is it? Okay. Um you know obviously, the creator is going to say the greatest risk isn't a rogue AI. It's humans surrendering judgment for efficiency. Now once you let machines decide what's optimal, uh morality is going to become optional with it. you know and that is, a very dangerous thing. And sometimes as human beings, we do a great job of creating things, but the problem is that we don't always use the best moral judgment. It depends who's in control of it. And um in every society there's always going to be a few that rule the masses, and that does make sense because you can't have everybody can't lead, and everybody can't be at the top, especially of millions and billions of people. But the hope is that the people that create this technology, and then those that have the power to buy it and control it and even manipulate it, hopefully they use it um, for a purpose that is good. But my personal opinion, I do see some potential nefarious outcomes and activity, coming out of this, when it gets into the wrong hands or certain decision makers. What's going to start off innocent or good, eventually, I believe that they will utilize it, to control and herd the masses. That's just my take on it. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, look at this stuff. We got what is it? In United States, we call it real ID. I forgot what Europe calls it, and what India and other countries call it, but it's the same thing. The real ID now that you need in order to travel locally within the United States. I'm talking about getting on a plane. Before, you didn't need your passport or this digital ID to travel by plane within the United States. Now, all of a sudden, you need this digital ID, and you need it to leave the country. And other nations have their digital. They call it something, but it's the same thing, digital ID. And so this stuff, or this database has information on you where instantly, wherever you go in the world, what do we call it here? What is T what what is our guy? I forgot what our guys are called here. The government employees that that let the people, through the airport, you know what I'm saying? Guys, please help me out. I cannot think of the word, but I know they're one of the lowest paid federal TSA, the TSA agents, and so every airport in the world has their own TSA agents, but they can, Homeland Security, all of this stuff will have this stuff in a database, wherever you go worldwide. So it's going to lead to centralized control, and eventually you will have robotic TSA agents, working in airports. They're going to be helping law enforcement perform security, so all of this is tied together, and by virtue of it being artificial intelligence, um, once they make these systems, or once they complete them, these AI robots will be able to eventually tap in, to these systems and pull up this information, instantly. It'd be like having super, chat BT 10, or like a quantum computing type brain, and they're all synced, what I'm saying, together. So this is not hearsay, guys. This is what's really happening. This is what's really happening. um you know yeah, digital ID, your real life robocops, and you're gonna have actual robotic militaries, what I'm saying, they will be working, with men and women, what I'm saying, but you will have robotic soldiers, and that reduces the risk, of human beings, coming into dangerous contact, during conflict, because robots, they don't feel pain, and they don't get sick, they don't take time off. All you have to do with artificial intelligence and a robot or a machine is basically just maintain it, the maintenance. You replace parts on it, you keep the systems, updated, and if the systems, what I'm saying, need to be changed or moved to, say, a different version, then you download the different version, or you install it, you know and um you also have AI, creating AI, robots making machines, machines making machines. This stuff is not only going to hit the civilian side with job replacement, but what I'm saying, there's going to be some effects, on the militaries worldwide. Now, how is this stuff going to play out when we hit the age of the Jetsons? where I guess maybe less human beings are on the battlefield. That, what I'm saying, I am not exactly sure um how that plays out. Maybe I need to watch Joe Rogan or what's his name, Alex Jones, on the conspiracy side to get an idea of what the likely scenario would be, you know. But this is my thoughts, what I'm saying, closing thoughts on this, man. Technology has never replaced, what I'm saying, the weak first. It replaces the necessary. You know, it replaces what is necessary. But that's another way of saying only the strong will survive, and basically AI will take out, or replace um, jobs or careers, with certain type of tasks. Okay, now the question is whether AI will fight our wars. The question is whether humans will still matter once it does. How much will you need human beings now in your militaries? Once you have artificial intelligence soldiers. If war becomes math, who's responsible for the outcome? And I'll say it again: if war becomes math, who's responsible for the outcome? You know, yeah. And questions to ask. Do you trust AI more than a human commander? Should a machine ever have the authority to take a life? Are we preparing soldiers or training them to be replaced? Something to think about, guys. Something to think about. But that's just my closing thoughts on that. But this is happening in real time. So I would say guys, get ready. But for my men and women that's in uniform and those that intend to enlist and go into the military, still continue to make your preparations, to go into the military and to succeed. What capacity artificial intelligence, will have in the military, I'm not exactly sure as of yet, but I do foresee it having a role. Now, how fast is it gonna be integrated? I see it being integrated fast, but as to what extent, that I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? But for you, ladies and gentlemen that desire a career in the military, still prepare and um, um, do your best. You know what I'm saying, to get in there, because as you can see, we still have shortfalls. On um, bodies, that are signing up for the military. So there's still plenty of room, ladies and gentlemen. So it is still a very viable career. So more to come on this, but I thank you guys. You know what I'm saying, for listening. This is my snacks 1, 2, 3 on Rumble, and I thank you for all of my followers. I'm new here, and I'm just getting back to making content on Rumble, as I was having some difficulties, with it, and trying to learn everything and how it operates. And to my followers on Rumble, I finally found the comment section, so I just finally found it and learned where it was at and how to use it. I didn't know where it was at, so for those of you whose comments I didn't respond to, it's like I disappeared. Um, my apologies. I was not ignoring you. I just didn't know how to get to your comments to respond to it. And so I will be getting to those comments, and I will start responding now that I'm getting more familiar in how to use Rumble, and I will be uploading more content on Rumble. So it's coming, guys. More content will be coming on my YouTube channel also. This is Snacks 1, 2, 3 on Rumble, and so please um join me here on Rumble. Subscribe and follow me on Rumble. Like, unlike, the videos, lives, leave a comment. Love the dialogue with you. And I like to hear your thoughts. Everybody has a different perspective and opinion and has a right to be heard. And also, I have my YouTube channel, Eric Broadus YouTube, EricBroadus YouTube, or Eric Broadus YouTube.com. So please subscribe to me on YouTube as well. Hit the hype button on YouTube to hype the videos. Like and share them. If you don't like the videos or the lives, unlike them. Either way, leave a comment. Love to dialogue with you over there also, you know. And turn on the bell for all notifications. Also, I have a podcast, Snack Thoughts, SNAKZTHOUGHTS, Snack Thoughts. The podcast can be found on Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Radio PBM, and a host of other social media outlets. So please, join Snack Thoughts podcast. Join it, guys. And lastly, I have the five best weight loss products. Health and nutrition, guys. Next to God, um, your health is the next best thing that you have. So you get one body, you get one life to live. Take care of your health, guys, and it will pay you back. Your health is your wealth, man. Your health is your wealth, ladies and gentlemen. Without your health, outside of God, you don't have nothing, man. If your health is bad, what can you do if your health is bad? So, but I'll leave a link in the description, and click on the link and get the products if you want to lean out. Take care of your health. Lean out, cut fat. Weight loss, all of that. What I'm saying, get the products, and then also share the link with someone else. So they can take care of their health and improve their quality of life. But that's all I have on this one, guys. And thank you again to all my followers on Rumble. I appreciate you. All my subscribers and those that follow me on YouTube, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And likewise on the podcast, Snacks Thoughts. Peace out, guys. Catch you on the next one later.